The word superstar gets thrown around a lot in the NBA. I've heard people call players like Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal a superstar, but the true examples of superstars are the two players I'm about to mention. Players who you can build a team around successfully as your number one option. Players who are capable of being one of the faces of the NBA. Players like Kawhi Leonard and players like Giannis Antetokounmpo. But what happens when you put a superstar against a superstar? The best of the best. That's why I'm here to compare a healthy Kawhi Leonard to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and by the end of this video, we'll give you an answer on who the better player really is. So starting off with scoring, I have to say Kawhi is probably a top 3 scorer in the NBA. Very versatile of a shot creator, as he puts the threat on the defense as a shooter from the perimeter off the dribble, with amazing shot mechanics and consistently improving his behind the arc shooting ability. Kawhi connects on about 40% from 3 on nearly 5 attempts this past season. He's consistently a 37 to 40% shooter from deep on a good amount of shot attempts from 3. Most of his shots are also off the dribble, which makes this insanely impressive, but the craziest part of this isn't even his greatest aspect of his game, and it is not nearly as impressive. For one, he's an insane mid-range shot creator, and arguably the best in the league at that aspect. His 7-foot wingspan helps him make a contested mid-range shot look like a wide-open layup. His pull-up 15-foot mid-range jumpers off his screen or back-down fadeaways are always consistent and automatic. The man hits 48% of his mid-range jumpers on a game-week basis on 9.8 attempts per game. It also adds on to why he's so amazing of a free throw shooter, hitting 88.5% of them on 6 attempts, which is an underrated part of his game. His ability to draw contact when getting under the rim, and obviously being such an efficient free throw shooter, makes him more of a threat as a scorer. And speaking of ability to draw contact under the basket as a slasher, he's also an insane finisher as well. Not too many counter moves, but he knows how to put insane strength and body to get momentums and push defenders out the way without fouling, with ability to trick defenses with his fastest slow-paced drive to the basket, and mixing that with his insane touch and being athletically gifted. You have a finisher that makes 75% of his baskets under the rim on above 4 attempts per game. As for Giannis, he's also one of the best scorers in the league. However, he's a different type of scorer. He lacks versatility and is certainly not like Kawhi, where he can create a shot from the perimeter with a post-game and 3-level scoring ability. But he can still give you 30 efficiently, even while excelling at really only one aspect of scoring. Giannis definitely has a weird shot from 3, definitely not a coordinated shot, and doesn't have good shot mechanics outside, as you can see him knock his elbow out while shooting. And from the perimeter, he does not have good ball control with his shot. However, when it comes to finishing, I believe Giannis may be the best finisher in the NBA. First of all, this man finishes 80% of his baskets on nearly 9.5 attempts per game. He has a ton of counter moves. Always uses his sheer strength to body multiple defenders and get good positioning to finish under the basket. He has an amazing handle and is aggressive coming towards the basket, finishing over defenders with euros, spin moves, double pumps, and power dunks. He is an all-time level transition scorer with his speed and finishing. He literally averaged 30 points per game per 75 possessions on plus 6.1 relative to shooting percentage. Kawhi, on the other hand, averaged 27.5 points per game per 75 possessions on plus 4.6 relative to shooting. But I'm still giving the edge to Kawhi as a scorer, and yes, while the points per game and true shooting numbers may not show that, the eye test shows that Kawhi is far more versatile as a scorer with far better self-creation, and considering Giannis plays with a far easier system to score in, being that the Bucks do have a 5-out offense with 4 other floor spacers all beyond the 3, it is much easier for him to get great looks down low, which not only raises his efficiency, but also raises his volume with more open looks. Kawhi does not have the same type of system, since he is the primary perimeter ball handler who has to self-create over doubles and triples a lot more, with far less touches inside. And since the Clippers want to entirely space the paint with a lot more distribution amongst the team for the touches inside to the basket, it's really hard for Kawhi to make his numbers look good. When it comes to the most underrated playmakers in the NBA, I think Kawhi and Giannis are one of the first players and stars that come to mind. Starting off with Giannis, he's arguably the greatest playmaker in a driving cake system in the NBA right now. He has the all-time great paint gravity and rim pressure, and also has insane vision, being a very quick and fast passer with the basketball created for wide open shooters in the corner or the wing areas. Giannis can make some very long passes with the basketball, and is primarily why he averages 6 assists, giving up 3.2 turnovers a game, which is top 4 for his position. But as an overall playmaker, Giannis has an 11.8 box creation and ranks 11th in that playmaking stat. Obviously, with box creation being probably the most important playmaking stat, this is extremely impressive for how a big like Giannis has the high of a box creation in 11.8. With Kawhi, however, he has insane scoring gravity, holding such great perimeter gravity on the defense due to being a threat with his mid-range and three-point scoring. With this insane gravity on the perimeter, it helps open up the lane and the paint for cutters and bigs to find easy baskets. He's also heavily underrated in the pick and roll. He does have high IQ as a passer and good vision too, but he's always making the right decision out the pick and roll, whether that's to kick out the ball to an open shooter, dump the basketball to the rolling big, or to score off pick and rolls. Kawhi is so underrated as a playmaker. He averages 5.2 assists while only committing 2 turnovers per game, which is so efficient as an assist to turnover ratio, knowing that he has insane level ball control and decision making. But being such a great passer with insane level scoring gravity, and on top of that being an off-ball threat as a playmaker with cuts, floor spacing, and touch passes is why he has 11.2 box creation, which ranks top 15 in the league. And although yes, Giannis does have a higher box creation, but with a very slim difference, I would still give the edge to Kawhi Leonard as a playmaker due to him being so good as an off-ball playmaker, creating a bigger gap there. But this aspect is definitely close and interchangeable with both players. But yeah, that's going to end it off for today's video on Kawhi vs. Giannis Antetokounmpo Part 1. So if you guys want to see Part 2, please like and comment this. And yeah, next video will for sure be Part 2 of Kawhi Leonard vs. Giannis Antetokounmpo. As always, leave your comments down below, and I'm out. Peace.